Cali Miners, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money, got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shine.
Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, you know the vibe. So who I'm here with today?
Oh, Alfred Trotter, Pigmies.
Alfred Trotter.
Better known as the Pigmies.
Man, so let's get to it, man. Where did you grow up at, Alfred?
Compton.
Compton?
Yeah.
Originally?
Yeah, Compton and Watts. My mother was moving back and forth. The west side, east side, north side. All my aunties, they were just constantly moving. You know, we would stay in one place for 5 years, and then we moved. Started Compton, back to Watts, Compton, Watts, west side, you know. But the guy that started, they called us Pigmies, his name was David Allen, but that Allen is not his last name. It's just, he's a Williams, a Smith, somewhere in there, but he's the one that gave us that name.
That gave you that name. Okay, I'm gonna get back to that. So, what year was it when you moved to Compton? When did you first live in Compton?
Well, that was back in the 50s.
In the 50s?
Yeah. I know for sure in 56 and 57, my brother and sister was born in the Nickersons, Jamie and Judy. I mean, Jamie and Judy. Mm-hmm. Jamie was born in 57, she was born in 56.
And what year were you born?
1951.
51, okay. And you remember what hospital you was born?
General Hospital.
General Hospital.
Yeah.
The little one or the big one?
The big one.
Ah, there you go. So you was living in Compton, then you moved to Watts. And when you moved to Watts, what was Watts like that in the 50s? Watts in Compton.
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, everybody was together then. Blacks, you know, we was all one back then. And even in the projects or the neighborhoods, you can bring your couches and TVs out in the front yard. You know what I mean? Watch TV all night. While the mothers and fathers out there watching TV, girls slipping out the back door, you know. We having fun, but we all had to be in before the lights, street lights came on. So during that time, that was when everybody was able to get out. You know, their parents was in the front, and we was out in the back having fun.
So, was you ever did you ever visit over in Park Lane where Martin Luther King is at?
Yeah, that was Palm Lane.
Palm Lane.
Palm Lane before they built Martin Luther King. Them was projects. Mm-hmm. You know, they was just one level, but they was projects. I still remember the color of the buildings. They was red. But it was Palm Lane projects first.
Okay.
And then they tore them down and built Martin Luther King.
Okay.
But Palm Lane was first.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there, growing up, what was growing up like in that section? What was that like? You know what I mean? Because you grew up between Palm Lane, Nickersons, Jordan Downs, and between Compton, the west side of Compton.
When we was growing up, everything was beautiful. I mean, to me, it was nice. Wasn't no killing, wasn't none of that. You know, everybody had respect for each other. You respect your elders. You respect kids this small and that tall. You know, it was a lot of respect. We used to get whooped by just about everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, anybody, like they saw you doing wrong, they get on you.
Yeah, they get on you. And we didn't cuss back at them or disrespect them or nothing. You know, it was just respect. We can be like 15, 20 of us walking down the street, and there can be two old ladies coming, and we part like the seat. You know what I mean?
Right.
They come right through, and they say, "Where y'all on your way to?" We said, "We on our way to the movies." They said, "Well, don't get down there acting like no fool." You know what I mean? Act like you got some sense. Now, who don't got money? So we all point at the ones that don't have no money, right?
Right.
There they is. So they come up and they give them money, bus fare to get up and back, and money to get in the show. You know, so
right.
It was a lot of respect. A lot of respect.
A lot of respect. Yeah,
And,
we definitely missing those times.
Everybody,
you know what I mean?
We called each other brothers, you know, bloods, you know what I mean? Because back then we was all united. So every black was your brother. You know
So
it?
during that time, we called ourselves Young Blood,
Yeah,
and Cuz, and all that. But it wasn't associated with gangs.
See, Cuz was family. You know what I mean?
Explain that. Yeah.
Cuz was family. Only time I used that was for my righteous cousins. You know what I mean? And before they come out with the Crips and Blood, C, the capital C, stood for Compton. And the W, the 3 stood for Watts, capital W. So when we see Compton, when we be out somewhere and we run across them, we throw up Watts and they throw C. So we know we got backup. You know what I mean? So anybody mess with them.
So what you're saying, Compton and Watts have always been together.
Yeah. Compton, Nickerson's, Jordan, we was all one. All one. All of us. All one, man. It wasn't no problems. Well, you know, we done a little fighting and all that, but everything was good. And,
Okay.
Just like when the Crips and the Bloods came out, they was one too, you know. All the Crips, if you a Crip, you a Crip. It didn't matter what set you was from or none of that. Blood, if you was a Blood, you was Blood. Didn't matter where you lived, you know what I mean? What set, you know, you was one.
So you're 71 right now, right? So you part of the era what I like to call the paradigm shift. And what I call the paradigm shift, because I'm gonna relate it to you. There was Bunchy Carter, Ron Karenga, then there was Craig Muncie, then there was Bird out of the Slauson, the businessman or whatever.
Yeah, down on
South Park.
Yeah.
And then there was yourself running down there with the Pigmies. You and your guy. What's the guy you just named? Brown.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's only 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Donald, Ronald, and me.
See.
Just 3 of us.
Okay.
And they start calling our family Pigmies, and everybody we ran with, they was calling them Pigmies. So we didn't like the name. We hated it.
That's what I was going to ask you. How did you guys get that name?
David Allen. David Allen. At first he picked the three Musketeers. We liked it that, but it didn't go nowhere. Then he come out with the Untouchables. You know, we liked it that, but it didn't go nowhere. Then he came out with one more, and it didn't stick. You know what I mean? Showed him the Untouchables there, you know, this and that there, but it didn't go nowhere until that movie came out, Kiva Java, whatever it was. Robert Taylor was the star of the movie, and this woman was trying to find her father, and he was in the darkest part of Africa, where white man never been. You know what I mean? So they was going through Africa. At first they was with a Watusi, you know, they like 7 feet tall. Then they moved on a little further and they ran across the Mandingo tribe, that's like Jim Brown and all them.
Right.
Then they moved on a little further into the desert and they ran across the Pygmies. If David Allen wouldn't have seen that movie, we wouldn't have never been called Pygmies. But he was trying to find a name for us, and he said, I know they ain't gonna like this, you know. And he was right, because we sure didn't like it. Then he seen 3 little boys, and he said, Ronald, Donald, and Alfred. And the next day, we was Pygmies. And everybody was running.
And it stuck. That name stuck.
Yeah, that stuck. And they thought we threw spears and darts and all this stuff.
Yeah, there was all kind of rumors out there.
They really thought that we was from Africa, you know what I mean? And people was running, like I was running with one guy. We all at the bus stop. And they was talking about the Pygmies. And he said, yeah, I beat the Pygmies' ass, that one named Alfred. I said, do you know what he looked like, man? He said, yeah, I know what he looked like. I said, well, you looking at him now, and you sure didn't with me. You know what I mean? Man, and I turned around and everybody was gone. Now, we was standing there at the bus stop, about 8 of us, you know what I mean? Since they didn't know who I was, we talking. When they found out I was a Pygmy, everybody just broke and ran, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I was mad. I didn't like it at all. You know, and I thought it, one time, in 68, they came out with a paper called Little People Invading Watch, from the Signal, the Los Angeles Signal.
Mm-hmm.
Said Little People Invading Watch. And they say the oldest one is 18, and there's about 200 of them, and half of them go to Markham, you know, and that was bull. We had a lot of friends, we had a big family, but, you know, I just didn't like the Pigmy name at all. So that's why I fought most of the times, and all through the 60s, them was my fighting years, you know.
All through the 60s?
All through the 60s.
So let me add the other two to the equation. Is when I called the paradigm shift was Bungie Carter, Ron Karanga, Craig Monson, yourself, and but also there was Ray Boyce and Raymond Washington, which was 2 or 3 years younger than you guys, but they bought something that you guys hadn't anticipated, and we're going to get to that. I just want to add them to the theme, but let's get back. So you had became the fighter in your era, and if you had to put a number on it, because I like to call you a hand god, because that's what I call them, hand god. How many fights roughly do you think you? I mean, if you can even estimate, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because people was always coming from everywhere to fight you, right?
Yeah. That's why I say I know it was 50 in the 60s. You know, because I was counting them as they was coming. You know what I mean? So by the time 69 rolled around, you know, we was at the top of the food chain. So I didn't have no more challenges anymore. But once the 70s started, you know, I got into a few fights, mostly for my family and my friends. But all my challenges was over. I had won my respect. So it kind of slacked up in the 70s.
So is there any one fight that stands out in your mind that
Cruz.
Okay.
The little Mexican. I called him Cruz, but that wasn't his name. That was a hard fight. We had the same blood. He was like my brother. You know what I mean? We fought to the death. He didn't want to give up, and I didn't want to give up. And that was the best fight I had. I knocked him down 3 times. The problem was he kept getting up. And I couldn't knock him out, but I was sure putting him on his ass. And he can wrestle real good, too. He got me on the wrestling, but when it came to fighting, he couldn't deal with me there. But that was a good fight. We fought about 2 hours at a carnival in Compton at Thrifty's. And
I remember Thrifty's.
Yeah, Thrifty's was right there. We fought right in front of Thrifty's. About a good 2 hours.
So why was these people so interested in challenging you to a fight? I mean, you know, because maybe did they think because your stature was little that they thought?
Yeah. See, that was mostly the problem. Everybody thought that they can whoop me because I was little. And back in the day, they didn't know how to jab. You know what I mean? They throw wow. That's how I'm whooping most of them. I'm throwing straight punches and they throwing roundhouses and all that. But I learned from Ali and Bruce Lee. Them was my heroes.
Well, tell us about what was. How did you learn from? Did you learn by watching them, or were you ever around them, or?
No, I was around Ali a lot. But I learned how to fight, use my jab from him, and I learned how to hit pressure points and all that from Bruce Lee. So when I didn't want to fight a long time, I just hit you in one of them pressure points, you know, and freeze you, you know. Or either hit you right in the middle, right here in your chest, or either come down a little bit and knock your wind out, you know.
So this was something actually that you studied. It wasn't nothing you were just out there doing.
Yeah, see, you got to know how to hit and where to hit. And a lot of people didn't know that. So that gave me an advantage over them, you know. So my little cousin, somebody had jumped on him and he came and got me. See, I'm finna go get my big cousin. So he left, came back with me. And he's taller than I am, right? So when I walk up and they say, oh man, everybody laughing, you know, oh, this little old bleed. Walk right up, knock him right out. got back on my bike and said, man, if they mess with you again, call me. And rode on back home. When I don't want to fight a long time, I just going to take you out, you know. When I want to fight, then, you know, we go 5, 10
So it was fun to you?
Huh?
It was fun?
Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But in the 60s, yeah, it was fun because it was a challenge. And I love the challenges. So it didn't matter how big he was. I never fought nobody my size. Because if you fight somebody your size, that's somebody's hard. They hard. Especially if they got the same arm distance. That's a fight, you know. So all my fights was with bigger people. Even in kindergarten, they was bigger than me. So.
What high school did you attend?
Well, first I went to, I ended up at Jordan. I was about to go to Compton High. My mother moved back to Watts, so I went to Jordan. And went to elementary school was Carver Park, 92nd Street School, Washington. That's how many times we moved, you know, 102nd, not 102nd, but 92nd, you know, but Jordan was my high school.
You also knew Mac Thomas as well, right?
Yeah. Mac was my boy. Like when I had told him the first time, some guy got back and said, oh, Mac wasn't no coward. Nigga, I didn't say he was no coward. You know what I mean? If you got 30 people finna jump on you and it's a tree right there, what you gonna do? You know, he ran up the tree. I was in the swimming pool. When I came out, I seen all these people around the tree. And Tyrone was the one that wanted to fight him, Tyrone Tate. And so, I said, Mac, what you doing up there? He said, man, they trying to rush me. I said, man, forget that. Come on down, man, and handle your business. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing, you know? Because I can whoop Tyrone. Tyrone can whoop everybody he was with. So I was the man. So I said, ain't nobody gonna mess with him. Y'all come down, and M&T got into it. They done their thing.
Right.
And about 10, 15 minutes into it, they both got caught with bombs. Mac hit T with a bomb. Blam! T came back. Blam! But then they froze. You know what I mean? They were just. I said, it's over. Y'all don't want to fight no more. Y'all done knocked the fight out of each other, you know.
I'm glad you cleared that up, man, because so many people took that wrong, man. They did not.
Yeah. Mac, he was my boy. When he got in trouble, I was there. When I got in trouble, he was there. Me and Mac had back to back. We were standing back to back, fighting our way out of parties. You know what I mean? Mac was my boy, Chavi and Ray Boyce. And everybody that can fight at that time, they wanted us to fight. You know what I mean? But it wasn't happening, you know. I said, no.
So what was it like being around with Ray Boyce and Toby?
Yeah, well, when I was with him, we just had a bunch of women and parties and went everywhere. But Toby should have been a professional boxer, and Ray Boyce could have been a professional football player. Now, we used to sit around at that time, you know, I was going to be the first black jockey in 100 years, you know. And
so you was actually considered racehorse?
Yeah. My mother she didn't sign and let me go for it. I said, Mom, I ride horses every day. I know how to ride horses, but that's dangerous, son. You're not riding horses. So I said, okay. So she sent me to Job Corps. But me, Ray, and Tavi, we sit back and we talk about what we gonna do once we get over. Tavi, he was gonna buy a big mansion and invite everybody. Ray Boyce was gonna do the same, you know. And I said, yeah, man, when I go to win, I said, I'm gonna buy one too, and we just gonna have a watch party, you know what I mean, in Compton.
Was it ever a time where you, Tavi, Ray, and Mac and all y'all would be together?
Yeah, at the festival. All of us. We all together. And when the West Side Crips was coming to turn out the festival, so me, Toby, Ray Boyce, Mac Thomas, we was all there, and we wasn't gonna let them mess up our festival. So they came deep. They came deep like 100 and something, and we was at the park. So we got on the platform and we stopped them. They never got inside the park. We stopped them right on Central. We say big guns in the front, little guns in the back. Me, Toby, Ray Boyce, all of us.
What was Raymond at this time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if Raymond was there, but Tookie, his boys was there. Tookie wasn't there. Now Tookie was the man. I loved it. Tookie. Narville is the one I didn't like that much, but Tookie, I'm telling you, like when Tookie come down, he was doing a Christmas parade, 103rd Watch Parade, and Tookie came from Compton all the way down from the Grandies, and when he walks, everybody walks. You know what I mean? It don't matter. You got bounty hunters right behind him. Then you pick up the Crips coming on further. When you get down the watch, he got everybody.
Wait a minute, the way you explain it, like all these dudes got along at this time.
Yeah. And
that's crazy because now today it's so disarray and disenfranchised. These people don't get along.
Yeah.
But
Crips was Crips and Bloods was Bloods. They was all one back in the day. They was one. It didn't matter where you lived now. It was bounty hunters and Blood stayed over there where we lived, right? When you go to the party, you see them, you see a little everybody from all over the city, you know, Blood, Crip party, Blood party. I went to all of them, you know, especially when we go to the beach or to play Del Rey. Oh man, you got the Blood.
That's where you at right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We in play Del Rey.
Yeah. And at first, I didn't know they changed it to Dockwaller. But you got Bloods right here, and you got the Crips over here. And then after a while, everybody gets to smoking and drinking and stuff. Then they all come together. You know what I mean? And now you got Bloods and Crips hanging out together. Because there was shot callers back then. And Monday morning, now you can, like we can be kicking it, right? Right now, Monday morning, I'm going to kill your ass. You know what I mean? Monday morning, the war is back on. But the weekend, you know, we have it to ourselves. You know what I mean? It wasn't no more. They had the shot callers for the Bloods and shot callers for the Crips. And whatever they say, go. You know what I mean? Whatever they say. We going out to the park this week. The Crips gonna be there. You ain't having no problems, and it don't be no problems.
How long were you able to keep the Crips? Because you really didn't like what their function was, but there was a period of time where you didn't want them in the projects. Right?
No, I didn't want them in the projects from Jump Street. You know, we kept them out like 10 years. You know, we didn't let Jordan Downs turn Crip until my nephew Tyrone. He was already a Crip. So he said, Unc, man, I want to turn your projects into Crips, man. I say, hell no. Then I say, oh man, I can't fight him. That's family. So he started the Jordan Down Crips. They started as the JD Crips, then they Peter Roll, and before they came to Grape, they had a couple of names before they switched. I think they switched to Grape in '82 or either '84. They was Baby Lokes, and they was all Crips though, but they was Baby Lokes and there's two more names.
I remember the Peter Rolls.
Yeah, the Peter Roll Squad, you know, all that. And then they changed to Grape Street.
Did you also know Honcho?
Yeah, I knew Honcho.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a group of women though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not Crip Connie and Jackie Todd and all them. Man, but then there was the Little Devils.
Yeah,
Tillmans.
My wife was made up of that, and it was part of all the projects, you know. The Devil's Children was made up of the Jordan Downs, the Nickersons, the Hacienders, you know, all of the projects in the inner neighborhoods. And them were some tough women, who were pretty too, and will beat your ass. And the Cripplettes, man, I didn't too much like the Devil's Children because my wife was in it, but I loved it, the Cripplettes, man. They was the shit, boy. They don't never talk about them, but they was hard. I mean, hard. Guys were scared of them as well as for women, you know what I mean? And they knock guys out, man, you know what I mean? They knock them out. Guys would be walking down the street, and they see the Cripplettes coming, and they be scared, and I say, man, I say, watch these niggas, man. One of them cross the street, they gonna get rushed, you know what I mean? Because they show fear, you know? When they showed fear,
So who ran the Little Devils?
huh?
Which was it the girls that ran it? Was it
Shit, my wife, my sister, Diane Wisham.
was it Deborah Tillman?
Deborah Tillman.
She Curtin Poncho's sister, right?
Yeah.
Curtin Poncho and Ruben.
Yeah. See, they was getting saved before me. See, because I just creep and get mine, but shit, they do rook jobs.
That's what I learned about it was through Curtin Poncho.
Yeah, they were the first ones to do that. You know,
They used to dig holes in the top of the liquor store.
They come right down in there and come out with the safe. Now, when they got busted, police bust them. When they come in the house, it's a big safe sitting in the living room. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I said, man, he said, that's the way to get it. I said, no, not for me, man, you know, because I creeps.
Creep thief.
Yeah, like I go in the store and store crowded. So I just, you know, creep around and sneak on in the back, sneak in the office and load up and come out, you know, and buy something and pay them with their own money. You know what I mean? If you got 4 or 5 people in line already, that's about 15, 20 minutes because it's going to take 2-3 minutes for each person. And that gives me just enough time to do what I got to do. So when they see me again, I'm at the end of the line. You know what I mean? With my little groceries and shit.
Not knowing what happened.
And they don't know that their money's gone until they close up or either open the safe. One thing I didn't like about it, the managers was being fired because they the only one that had permission to go in the office and in the safe, you know. And I didn't like that. One time I had made some money and they picked up 2 brothers. And I was finna turn myself in because these youngsters was going to school, you know what I mean? They was looking the right way and heading the right way. And my nephew, if he wouldn't have grabbed me, I said, no, man, it wasn't him, it was me. You know what I mean? I did that. Let them boys go. My nephew grabbed me by the shirt. No, man.
Tyrone?
No, Larry. No, man. I said, man, look at that. These youngsters ain't going to jail for us, man. You know what I mean? He said, oh, man, but I got warrants and everything. I'm going to go to jail. So he slowed me down on that, but I don't feel right
You
about
got
that.
Rocky music for your ringtone.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't like it right now. You know, every time I think about it, you know, they got a record because of me, you know. So it bothered me. It always has. And that'd been over 40-something years ago. And it still bothers me.
Wow. That's interesting.
And I didn't like nobody going to jail for something I did. You know what I mean?
Did you ever do any prison time?
When I turned 35, they finally got me. I got away for 35 years. And only thing I ever done was county time. You know, you get 90 days and do 45 and you out. You know.
So you never went to the pen?
No, I went to the pen once because in '87, and I had got county time at first. I had got caught with $73,000. You know what I mean? And that wasn't over 60 days. But that was a state crime. And this district attorney was running that year, and he just wanted to yank up everybody, you know what I mean? So they pulled me out the county jail and bound me over to Norwalk. That was my first time going to Norwalk. And I said, man, they bounded me over to Norwalk.
Nobody walks in Norwalk.
He said, man, that ain't Norwalk, that's no walk. You know what I mean? I said, oh, man. So they get me down there and they trick me. You know what I mean? They come in there, oh, Mr. Trotter, you done got away over 35 years, you know what I mean? I said, man, don't you supposed to be my lawyer? You know what I mean? You say, well, but you got away. All we gonna do, we just want to give you a number. You know what I mean? She said, you don't have no bad record. And I didn't. I just had, you know, little misdemeanors. So he came back with 16 months, because that's what they wanted to give me in the first place. But they, through the 2 years, knew I wasn't taking that. So I went on and took the 16 months. I said, man, how long I have to be in? He said, you do 7 months and come home. And that's just what I done. But I said, well, give me a forthwith. Well, I can leave earlier because I already got 60 days from the county. So they, okay, you got your forthwith. But I done the whole 60 days in the county. You know what I mean? I left that night at 12 o'clock.
That's it.
And 7 months in the pen. And that was it. And I never done anything because I never been to the pen. When I got there, I said, man, this is it. Everything is over for me, you know.
I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the feds get me. It's guap.